HooHooHooRobin.
Mr. Donahue.
Yes.
Hi.
It's Opie and Anthony and Jim Norton. You might remember us.
Holy smokes, I think I remember who you guys are.
You think? You were all over the TV 3 years ago having fun with us.
Yes, I did.
Now, how did you know we were talking about you?
No,
we called.
Ben
we
called.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, good. That way we know it's actually him.
Well, this is a little uncomfortable because I know you don't really like us.
Well, I mean, listen, quite frankly, fellas, that you did one thing there which was offensive, and I came out against you. And at the time, though, remember what I did. After the station was taking some steps against you, I said to the FCC, stop it. I said, I'm not interested in punishing any further. I got what I wanted.
Yeah, after we got fired.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I didn't want to go after the station at that point because I figured I got what I wanted.
Now, Bill, the biggest problem I had was it didn't appear that you heard that show, heard any of the context, and was basing your statements on what was in the press.
That's true.
That is true. Isn't that a bit unfair? Because to tell you the truth, the press really got a lot of that wrong. It was blown up because, as you know, the media likes making a bigger thing of these stories than they really are. And it was quoted as pew-rocking sex in St. Pat's, which it wasn't. How could you come out so strongly and not really know all the facts?
Well, I'll be quite honest with you. I never saw a report to the contrary. In other words, I understand what you're saying, that the media sometimes blow these things out of proportion. But when I see it's uniform, when I couldn't find a single story which gave me an alternative understanding.
Coming to the source might have been nice. Us, we couldn't tell what happened because we had a gag order on us.
Well, weren't you with the guys who set this thing up? I mean, this whole thing was a setup. That this guy and gal who are having sex there at 4 o'clock in the afternoon on a holy day of obligation in St. Patrick's Cathedral. I mean, that's just downright offensive.
You know something? You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
But in the context of the show itself, no one was actually supposed to go to St. Pat's. It was on a list for, I guess, shock value. But the truth of the matter is, they were not in the church. They were in a vestibule. They weren't amongst the parishioners, as was reported in the papers. And we were fired for a lot of the stuff that was written in the papers, and for you coming out just based on what you read in the papers.
Well, as I said, every report that I looked at had the exact same account. I don't recall one conflicting report. And, you know, like anybody else, when you see that kind of uniformity, it suggests that there's a certain degree of veracity.
Do you also know there was no foul language that was against FCC regulations used in the entire broadcast?
I don't think I ever made I'd have to go back and look at the record, but I don't think I ever made an objection on that.
Well,
my grounds was the fact that...
I'm just talking about how the papers reported it.
Right,
again.
right.
You know, it was another thing that was
well,
not very accurate.
They may have hyped it. They may have hyped it. How are you guys doing now?
He doesn't want to talk about it.
Actually, we're doing very well, Mr. Donahue.
Good for you.
We're here on satellite radio.
Well, that seems to be the wave.
And
Yeah.
we're getting a lot of people listening to the program, the new program, and we're very happy.
And I'm not blaming you guys for it, but I'm going to tell you the truth. I mean, I have never in my life gotten so much hate mail, and I get a lot of hate mail because I make a lot of people angry at me.
Yes.
But, you know, that's what I do for a living. But quite frankly, I don't ever remember seeing so much hate mail. It came in by the ton.
They're diabolical.
I mean, you guys got some great fans out there. But
They're pests. They're pests, Bill.
I keep trying to tell people I am neither saint nor Satan, but that's what the mail comes in. I'm either one or the other.
Yeah.
So we were thinking this morning because we were looking at, obviously, you know, the cover of the papers.
Yep,
and we were like,
yep.
wow, I wonder if Donahue came out about this. I mean, so we were curious as to what your take was, or if the Catholic League had any type of a vocal
well, they wanted me on Current Edition or one of these damn things last night, and I said, no, I'm not going to go on. But it's in today's Newsday. They just have one comment by me. This is devastating not just because he's a power player in the Catholic community, but because he's such a well-known champion of orthodoxy. And obviously, that's all I can say at this point. It doesn't look good, obviously. I mean, anybody reads the papers, looks like this guy's guilty. I've known him over the years, and I'm watching this thing intently. But let me tell you something, fellas. I'm here to defend the Catholic Church against wrongdoing. I'm not here to defend the wrongdoing in the Catholic Church. I've never defended some of these pedophile priests, these homosexual priests, these predators. I'm not going to defend anybody who...
I understand you don't defend them, but you don't come out against them with as much fervor as you did against us.
Well, quite frankly, I mean, that'd be like, what would you say to the ADL if they had a similar situation? I mean, we're an anti-defamation organization. I mean, I don't go around giving trophies to people who say nice things about Catholics. I come out to defend people like Mel Gibson, who's a good guy who got ripped apart by people who, for all kinds of reasons, because he's anti-Semitic, he's engaged in violence, it's pornography, all of which was a lie. And listen, there are priests who are lousy priests, obviously, and I don't feel it's my necessity to go out and blast every Father Murphy who can't keep his zipper up.
Mm-hmm. I hate to say this, but I like Bill.
I like Bill Donahue.
I hate to say it, but I'm liking Bill Donahue.
This hurts.
Well, listen, I'm just a straight shooter. I'm not going to clean up a mess because somebody else keeps spilling it. And, quite frankly, all men have breaks. And if they don't want to use them, then you have to deal with the consequences of your behavior.
Yeah.
Do you think the church has taken enough steps to kind of stop a lot of the things that have been going on, which have been covered up for a long time?
I think most of the damage was done in the late 60s, the 70s, and the first part of the 80s. And since the 90s, at least, a lot of steps have been taken to deal with this stuff. It angers me to no end, a lot more than you probably realize. I mean, after all, I'm the guy who's there defending the Catholic Church. So when I see this stuff, my blood boils because I am sick and tired of some of these priests who act this way. And you know what? If you can't abide by the rules, then get out.
Yeah. No, that seems to be the thing, but it doesn't seem to be going that way. They seem to be covering it up. And
well, listen, I will say this, and look. When it comes to dealing with the media, most of these Catholic dioceses do a lousy job. That's because they're scared to death of the media. I have to tell you, in all honesty, I have been treated fairly, I'd say 90% of the time. I have been quoted correctly most of the time. I've had some ugly incidences. We all have them. You deal with the media on a daily basis. They can cut and clip and paste, as we know. But for the most part, they're fairly up straight. And when I hear these bishops and these spokesmen for the diocese always want to go mum on the issue, don't they realize that they're just itching away then at the media? The media are going to just keep scratching until they find out, why aren't you being straight with us? That's what the media do for a living. They try to find out the truth. And I'm not going to protect some of these numbskulls who work for these bishops as directors of communication because I've met enough of them.
Mm-hmm. Wow, man, the guy. What are you going to say? The guy
fair.
makes a good point. I hate the fact that I'm not really angry with
Not
Bill
even
Donahue.
a little. I'm enjoying this.
Well, listen, you guys are obviously very talented fellas. I mean, you wouldn't have been done so well before, and then you bounce back very quickly. So, I mean, you've got a great audience out there. And I just wish you well. I don't go around holding grudges with people. I move on.
Forgive and forget.
Oh yeah.
I mean, listen, we all screw up. So what am I going to do? Just sit around here and just lambaste Opie and Anthony for the rest of my life? I mean,
we only had to sit out 2.5 years.
It was only 2.5 years of our lives, Bill.
Oh, it was all right. I guess you're right.
Yeah. Now I'm dealing with things like the Da Vinci Code and stuff like that. Now I got to.
Yeah, what's your beef with that?
Well, I don't know. I was on with the Today Show yesterday. I'll be on with Paul is on tonight to discuss this. I haven't seen the movie because they haven't filmed one shot of it. But
did you read the book?
Yeah, I read the book. I had to read the book because the media kept calling me about it, and I kept making comments. I haven't read the bloody book. I figured I might as well read it. I don't want to be a liar. Mm-hmm. So I had to read the damn book over a weekend, and it's okay. But look, what I don't like about it is this. The Mary Magdalene thing, that doesn't bother me so much as this idea that the Catholic Church just invented the idea of Jesus' divinity in 325 of the Council of Nicaea is historical garbage. And I know something about this period in history. And, look, if Dan Brown wants to sell this as a work of fiction, I wrote to him on March the 18th of this year. That's fine with me. But if you want to say it's fact and fiction, then I think we're going to have something to say about it. I will also say that, and you guys won't like this, I'm sure, but that's okay. I'm going to Nashville on Sunday to join in with some of these evangelicals on Justice Sunday 2, dealing with the whole whole question of getting pro-life Christians on the court, and I'm very concerned about some of the anti-Catholic comments have been made against John Roberts.
What's this ad CNN is supposedly going to, like something that's not even true, they're supposed to air something about that?
Yeah. I mean, look, he defended some anti-abortion protesters on free speech grounds. The question is this, is therefore, is he in favor of the bomb throwers in the lunatics in the pro-life community who throw bombs at the clinics? Of course he isn't. That's like saying that Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who is the general counsel of the American Civil Liberties Union, is in favor of Nazis because she defends the right of Nazis to march in Skokie. Nobody would make that argument. So I look, if you don't like Roberts, go against him for different reasons, but my job is just simply here to say to the Kennedys and Schumers and Leahys and Durbins, as well as the Barbara Walters and the NPR people, Mario Cuomo, Larry King, all these people who keep raising, you know what? This guy's a Catholic. This would be the fourth, Christopher Hitchens, that bigot. This will be the fourth Catholic that we have on the bench. Well, we got 2 Jews on the Supreme Court. Is that a problem? I mean, if we had all blacks, why would anybody care as long as they're qualified? But this kind of crap against Catholics is the kind of thing that just gets my blood boiling.
But it happens every single time on both sides. It happens every single time a president gets to appoint a judge.
It didn't happen with Ruth Bader Ginsburg and Stephen Breyer. Believe me, we researched this, guys. Nobody made a comment because they were Jews.
No, I'm not saying it's all solely based on religion, but every time there's a problem with the side that isn't getting to pick the judge. It's just the way it is. And the abortion issue, you're never going to get people together on that one. That's one of the biggest dividing issues as far as the Supreme Court appointees go.
Well, it sure is, and let's see how it plays out in 2008. Because if Mr. Giuliani, who did admittedly a very good job in New York City, wants to become president, he's going to have to explain to the Republican Party why he's in favor of killing kids who are 80% born.
What? Wait, Bill. It's statements like that that get people crazy.
Well,
how the hell is he in favor of killing children that are 80%?
He's against blocking any law which would make partial birth abortion, which means allowing a kid who's 80% born to be killed. A doctor takes a scissors and sticks it into the kid's skull so it can go through the woman's canal.
Right. But do you understand that procedure isn't used as just a form of birth control in this country? It is used only under circumstances of the woman's life being in danger.
That's not true. Woman's life being in danger is interpreted as psychological. If it were purely physical, you might have an argument. But we've seen this. Ron Fitzsimmons made this argument for years that this is all about the woman. Then he finally had a breakdown in 1995. He went on Nightline and he said, "Listen, I was a liar. In fact, this is a common procedure and whatnot." Now, all I'm saying is that if you want to be president of the United States in the Republican Party and you're not against partial birth abortion, look what Jeanine Pirro did yesterday. She came out against partial birth abortion. Now, is she sincere? Probably not.
But
at least she was smart enough to do that. Rudy won't even give us partial birth. He won't even say he's against partial birth.
Yeah, well, it's they call that the slippery slope, my friend. When you start with the partial birth, and before you know it, woman, back in the back alley with the hangers again, Bill.
Why were they always in the back of the
I don't know. Always in the back alley with the hanger.
How do we know they were coat hangers? Like
no.
In there with the graduate?
Wood
or wire?
I don't even think they wore wire hangers.
Wood or wire.
They're all wood. Oh, Jesus. Did Bill just say wood or wire?
Yeah. God, you want to do the radio show with us?
Pretty funny.
You're perfect. Can you come in and do the news?
Right. Wood or wire?
Oh my God! Well, I got to tell you, Bill, it's been a long time coming, and it's been very nice talking to you.
Listen, I have an entirely different attitude towards you, and now I'm going to see what all your fan base will have to say about me today, because they hated me before. Maybe they'll think I'm not half bad today.
Bill, I got to tell you, when we were coming back to radio, XM was paranoid, and so was Sirius. Ant and I had to decide between the 2 satellite companies. And they all thought you were going to be all over the TV again, ranting and raving about us. But then when you found out that we signed with XM, you had a nice little statement like, you wished us luck and stuff.
Yeah, and I do wish you luck. What the hell? I mean, look, like I said, we started the show talking about some of the possible screw-ups in the Catholic Church, which I'm not going to defend. So that doesn't mean I'm going to stop loving the Catholic Church, but I'm not going to defend the indefensible. And there's a lot of dirty laundry out there. On the other hand, let me tell you this much: there's an awful lot of dirty laundry about sexual molestation committed by public school employees, and nobody wants to talk about it. And that's, again, something that makes my blood boil. That's why I drink so much.
All right, Bill. Well, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for coming on.
Good. Thank you very much.
All right, there he goes.
Care.
Bill Donahue.
Take care.
Head of the Catholic League, right?
I am
really
angry.
didn't want to like him.
I am angry. I hate the fact that he was a good guest.
It was great.
And funny. I hated that guy.
That guy was all over
did
TV when we fucked up.
I hated that guy a couple of years ago.
Do we have any of the stuff he said back in the day?
But I like
That
the
stuff
fact
was priceless.
This is what I like, that you said the fact that you didn't read the transcripts. He's like, no. Like, you just
Yeah.
told the truth. Like,
No.
no, I didn't. Well, you didn't lie.
Damn it.
Yeah. Like, you really want to, like when Richard Huff came on, like, you know, for a much lesser degree.
What's with these guys that come on the damn show?
I know, and they're fun.
And you can't just lay into them and curse them out and hang up.
Because I dislike him for that one incident with this show, but I like the way he makes those arguments against, you know what I mean? Like a lot of the the debate of Ginsburg argument, and a lot of those other things I probably would agree with him on, except for the abortion
Well, of course
issue.
he wasn't going to see it our way with the Sex for Sam thing.
Yeah.
I just wish he listened to the show.
Well, halfway through that, I start thinking, oh, my God, I'm defending it. Jesus.
Yeah.
I sound silly.
Yeah, it's really tough
when
to
he
defend
said,
what we did.
well, look, you know, there was no reports to the contrary. They had, sex in front of, in the
But he's
church in a
smart
day of
enough to-
obligation. You're
It
like,
wasn't in the church. It was a vestibule. I'm trying
You're
my
getting all
damnedest.
technical.
It's like it's 2 years ago again. You know, I'm just trying, digging, clawing. I stink.
It was almost midnight, not quite the day.
You know, before it was built, there wasn't even a church there.
You brought up a scary point, though. You know, one news outlet runs with the story and everyone else jumps on, and they don't even do their own research. They all just follow the leader in the media, you know? Because I couldn't find one story that said differently. And that was the same way. We got articles from all over the world. It was the exact same text in every single article.
Yeah.
Now, one person did their own homework or research.
I don't know. Maybe it's us. Maybe it's us, Opie.
Huh.
I think back at AAF, we'd have heard a couple of whatever dudes out of you. And I probably would have went into a voice and told him to go fuck himself. I think we're getting mature.
Ew. You're growing up.
I think we're growing up.
But can you imagine this?
It's about time now that we're 50.
You're not. Day over 30. Neither one of you.
That's right, kids. We're 50 years old.
50.
So he just got woken up, probably. I mean, it was 7-something in the morning by Ben or whoever it was, and they said, "You want to come on the air or whatever?" He's like, "Yeah, all right."
Yeah, well,
No
sure.
preparation. He just came on the air 2 minutes later. You got to respect that.
Gotta give it to him.
Hey,
I respect anybody that has a beef with the show or had a beef and comes on and discusses it.
This
you
might
can't
be-
fault them.